Well, obviously, very disappointing outcome today. I thought our guys really fought hard, and made a ton of plays, but not enough. We had chances. We had chances early to grab the momentum. We didn't take advantage of that. We had certainly chances as that second half was going on to go up 2 scores. We didn't do that, and against a program like NDSU, a team of that caliber, we left the door open, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it happened that way. And I am really proud of our guys and how they continued to fight. But ultimately we came up short, and I think we've come a little ways here, meaning there's a pretty hollow feeling today. There was one outcome of this season that was going to probably satisfy us, and we're far from that. So we got a group of seniors that during their time, the course of this football program has changed, and that's they're a big part of that, and it's a group of 5-6 year guys, 6 transfers that all found Montana State to be their home, and gave everything they had to this program, and I feel bad for those guys, because ultimately we didn't get it done for them. So awfully disappointing. Certainly want to give NDSU credit. They battled. They certainly battled, and that's what we expected. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Was there thinking on the final play of going for 2, or was it kicked?
Pretty easy to look that way right now. Yeah. If I'd have known I got blocked, I would have won for 2. No, we scored in 1 play. We've been knocking extra points through. We should be able to knock extra points through, but that hasn't been the way it's gone. So yeah, I know it's in the make of overtime. You're going to have to go for 2 anyways. So I do think there's. I get the question. I do, but no, we were going to tie it up and get the ball right back. We scored in 1 play, and can keep fighting. So yeah, I appreciate your question, Victor.
Brent, the struggles on special teams, not only today, all season, just describe the frustration level of that.
Oh boy, beyond frustrated. Ultimately, that's a piece of the game that you have to excel in if you're going to do the things that we want to do, and far too often that didn't happen for us. And it needs to. We need to be able to count on being able to knock those kicks through, and we weren't able to do that today, nor in some other games. So we need to get that piece corrected.
You guys had a couple of sacks there on that last drive, and you got down close to field goal range. What was happening there?
Well, I think it's a situation where you can't take sacks. I don't want to pin all that on Sean. He's out there really for the first time functioning that way, but he's got to find a way to, either throw it to what he sees or throw it away. And there's really no room. And I think part of how he plays, part of how Tommy plays, is they want to keep things alive. And I think that's the byproduct sometimes. He's just trying to make a play. He had just made a huge play, which flipped the field, and I'm certain in his mind there's another play to be made in a similar fashion. But yeah, that knocked us out of reasonable field goal position. And we got a great punt by Brendan to not allow them to go any further. But yeah, we had that big run by Sean, and ideally you capitalize on that and you leave the game in regulation.
Tommy, how's he doing? And just how great was that performance? It seemed like one of his best games he's had.
Yeah, boy, I thought he battled. I thought that's who he is. He is going to give give this program everything that he possibly has, and he's an awfully talented young man, and he's a runner, he's a thrower, and I think he showed all of that today. He's a quarterback. He's he's a leader, and I don't know the severity of his injury, but obviously he couldn't play anymore. And that did hurt us, but yeah, that was. Tommy was a warrior today, and I thought the throws that he made, and certainly the runs, and I mean that's the type of performance we needed from him, and he gave it to us, and it's really unfortunate that it wasn't ultimately enough, because I think he did everything he could.
Cam Miller at 5 of 13 for 66 yards, which you had to like your chances if you did that going to the game, and they popped a few big runs. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised because the big word, but what's your thoughts on just the way it unfolded offensively for NDSU?
Yeah, you look at the numbers, how they got to almost 300 yards rushing, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of big plays in there, and you can stop them all you want and knock them back all you want, but you give up big plays. You give up big plays in the rush game, and yeah, if you just said we're going to get after him, we're going to put pressure on him, we're going to keep him, that disrupted, and throw for such a small amount, I'd say we like that result, because I really felt like we could really do things against a rush game. I think we did at times, but then you give up big plays, a 44, a 75, a 29, it all kind of balances it out. So yeah, not the type of a stat line for him that I would have suspected.
You mentioned the seniors earlier. One of those is Nolan, probably one of his best games he's ever had. I mean, what'd you think of his performance today?
Yeah, you know what? Clearly there was a young man that was going to leave it all out there, and he's you want more guys like that in your program that grow so much while they're here, that are willing to give so much all the way through, and for him to play his heart out, I wouldn't have expected anything less, and tough to see him go, because he was a guy that clearly he's going to leave here better, and we're going to leave here better, because we're going to be left better because of how Nolan Askelson went through his career.
We'll take one more question for Coach, and then we'll dismiss him and take questions for the players. Coach.
How would you just sum up the way the season ended, the disappointments at the end of the season?
That's a hard question to ask right here as I sit here. I think as we move down the road and you assess where we're at, you can sit and say, well, we were so close, but we're not interested in that right now. Whether it was today or a couple of those other Saturdays, we're not interested in being close. And what you hope is you got a group of men in that locker room, 90 plus, that recognize the things that, and coaches alike, recognize the things that that we gave up over the course of time that didn't allow us to do the things we wanted to do. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It is a hard pill to swallow, but that's where we're at. And life doesn't always go the way you want it to. It doesn't. And on both sides of it. And this hurts. This hurts for a lot of reasons. You don't want to see this group, their story come to an end, but it has, and we got to move on. And like I said, those 90 plus guys, all the coaches, we need to look at where we're at and keep moving this thing forward.